For these assignment images, we're going to combine multiple skills and techniques you've learned in all of those videos you've watched and compile them to create some interesting designs. So first, I need to remove the center motorcyclist. And the way I'm going to do it, in a lot of ways you can do it, I'm going to grab the polygonal lasso tool right here, and I'm just going to click, 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 sort of close around the person, but I'm not trying to be too careful. Click, 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 double click. Then I'm going to go up to Edit, Content Aware, Fill, and it's going to do it for me. If I need to tweak some stuff, I can change the color adaptation to make it look better. I can come over here, and this is a live thing, so if I take away that, you'll see it update over here. See, okay, that's a little better. Now this is some kind of just read-write error because I just updated Photoshop, and whatever new thing they fixed messed up something else. Okay, that's not bad. I'm gonna click OK. Hit Command or Control D to deselect, so you can see it did all of that on its own layer right here. I'm gonna Command Option Shift letter E to squish that to the top, and I'm just gonna title it New. So that's really not bad. There's a couple little blurry areas here and there. The way you would fix that is you'd hit S for this clone stamp tool or come over here and select it. You need to hold down the Alt or Option key and just kind of click on what you want to paint from. I want to paint from this tire track, and I want to just pull it over, kind of get rid of some of that blurriness. I'm going to Option click again to get rid of this side. Option click again for that. Option click here to get rid of that's actually too sharp. I need more blur there. And you kind of get the idea, but that's good enough. Now I want to push the motorcycle riders to their own layer. The quickest way is just come over to the Quick Selection tool, select it. In the toolbar, select Subject at the very top. Photoshop will figure it out. It did a pretty good job, it looks like. I'll toggle on Select and Mask so I can see what it did. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Again, that Refine Edge brush is the most common one automatically selected, which is perfect. I'm going to paint right here because I don't need that background. I can paint in between these spokes. I can click once here, and click behind these spokes, and try to retain some of those spokes. And that's close enough. I typically use Radius and Smart Radius at around 2 or 3 pixels. Come down to Output to New Layer, and Output with a New Layer to Layer Mask. Click OK. Now whenever you do this, I'm going to turn off these. So this is what we have now. I need to turn back on my new background layer, right? But at least I have everything on their own layers, the background and the motorcycles. I'm going to choose just the new background. I'm going to Hue Saturation Adjustment layer because basically I want to shift that to more of a blue. Yeah, I like that. But actually I'm going to come back to this new background layer because I want to make it more of an illustration. So I'm going to go to Filter Gallery. If your image comes in too large, and you can tell it's loading because of that blue bar down here, just hit Command or Control 0, hit a Fit in Screen, and just play with the number of levels and edge simplicity on the cutout mode. So we're in the artistic category, right? Choose cutout. It'll rewrite every time you click. And I'm going to choose levels, edge fidelity. Okay, that did a pretty good job. So I chose 7, 5, and 2. You can tweak it however you need to. Click OK. All right, that made it look more like an illustration. I'm going to click back on that hue saturation to see if I got the colors I want. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit more blue. Now I want to adjust the colors of the motorcyclist to adjust and make them look more like an illustration. So I'm going to select them. And I'm actually going to hit Command or Control J just in case I might mess something up. I have my original already layered, ready to go. I'm going to choose Filter. You'd never choose the very top thing, even though if it says it's what you want. Because remember, Photoshop remembers the last filter you applied, the exact settings, allowing you to reapply it if you know for sure you want that exact setting without having to go back in and mess with everything. Now, since I'm working with just the guys and not the background, I probably need to go manually do this. So I'm just going to choose Filter Gallery again. Command 0 to Fit in Screen again. Make sure I'm in Artistic, Cutout, and it's showing me everything, but I'm only looking at the guys. And actually those settings of 752 seem to work great for the guys. It doesn't always work like that, but it did here. So I'm going to click OK. So that looks really, really good. So now that I already know what color I want, I can click on this Hue Saturation layer, hold the Alt or Option key, and just drag a duplicated copy to the very top. Now what's happening? Well, obviously there's an issue with how this is being applied. If I hold down the Alt or Option key and clip this mask by hovering in between, do you see my cursor change? Well, that's going to say this adjustment, turn off the eyeball, is only affecting the exact layer directly underneath, which happens to be my motorcyclist. So this is all perfect so far. Now I'm at C for the crop tool. I'm going to crop out that entire sky, making it kind of a square. I'm going to pull in from this side just a touch so it's a little more symmetrical. And actually, I think I'm going to pull in from the foreground just a touch. Click enter. Command 0 to fit in screen. I think I enjoy where this ad is going. So let's group some things so I don't get confused. So this hue saturation layer is only working on the motorcycle mask people. So I'm going to Command Control select those two, hit Command or Control G, name of them motorcycles. Remember, I'm not using this, so I'm just going to turn that off, and I'll drag it down out of the way. And then this is our background, so I can select that and that, hit Command or Control G. So essentially everything I need is in the motorcycles or in the background folder. So now I just want to add my text and logo. So I'm just going to grab the text tool, horizontal text tool. All right, let's go find, well, let's lower up here the font size just by clicking on the TT and just dragging. You can also use the drop down if you want to quickly get to 72, but typically I find that it's going to need to be a lot bigger. And then I'm going to type in cap lock RID for ride. So now I can kind of get a better idea of what's going on. There we go. I chose center. I'm going to choose ACR bat right here. If you don't have that, choose something else you like. Enter. I'm going to put this right here in the center. Now, obviously, I don't think I like the color of this yet, but I'll come back to that color. Now we need to add a custom shape. If you come over to the custom shape tool right here, click it. And you saw in the video how I showed you how you can come in and append default shapes, but I've already shown you how to do that. So essentially, I'm going to come in. I already have a shape picked. I'm going to see if I can go refine that shape. Where did I find it? Grime Vector Pack. So see if you have the Grime Vector Pack. If you do, choose one of these. I'm going to choose this one. It auto-applied, so I'm just going to stretch it out. And it's auto-applying that color, which is fine for now. And I happen to be, look at that, I happen to be below the motorcycle, so it's perfect. So it's actually kind of going in behind the motorcyclist anyway, which is great. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that by hitting Command or Control J. Then I'm going to hit Command or Control T to free transform, hold the Alt or Option key to make it larger, and then I'm going to rotate it just to get some variety. Hit enter, and then I want that to be below the bigger one, so I'm going to drag it down. So now let's talk about the colors. Well, one, I don't like the placement of, do I? I don't think I like the placement of the big one. So I'm going to click on it and just pull it up a little bit with the move tool. Yeah, I like that a little better. And then the ride, I want to be on the very top. So I'm just going to click the text layer that says ride and bring it to above the two custom shapes. And this custom shape, I'm actually going to rasterize by right-clicking on it and choosing rasterize layer. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Right-click, rasterize layer. So if I hold down the Alt or Option key and I click, see that stuff in the middle right here? That's bothering me. So now I can just select it. I choose E for the eraser. Here's the eraser tool. Right bracket key for a little bigger brush. And I'm going to get rid of that middle part. Actually, erase too much. Hit Command and Control Z. And a little smaller brush. I'll do it again. And then I'll click on this layer and do the same thing. Because I didn't want the ride to be, cluttered up. All right. So now I'm going to click on ride. Hit Command or Control T. And I just want to enlarge it a little bit. Move it over. Maybe make it a little smaller. How do I want to center it? It has to be aesthetically pleasing for the design. If I hit enter there, I'm going to select everything that's a custom shape and text. So I've got those three layers selected. V for the move tool, so I can move it up just a touch. So for me, with no other text or copy going in this, my design feels lopsided. Like I've created a very symmetrical design, but the ride is kind of off balance for me. It makes it too left heavy. So essentially I need to tweak that. And the only way I can figure out how to tweak it is I'm going to delete that big one. And I'm going to select that custom shape, hit Command or Control T, and rotate it so that thick part's at the top. Pull it over just a touch. Hit enter. Click ride. Pull that over just a touch. That's better. Command or Control T to make the font larger. And this is a lot of what design is just fine-tuning things until it feels right to you. I'm going to click enter. And yeah, I'm gonna leave that there with just the single custom shape. I'm gonna add a drop shadow, FX, drop shadow. And if yours doesn't show up, just click on it right here and you can change the angle. You can change the color. Mine's like kind of a dark blue. Remember, you just pull this up and down to change that. But yeah, I want my shadow to be kind of a dark blue. How far away? Not too far away. And I want it to be a little softer, so I'll put up the spread and the size. See how that softens it up a little bit? Makes it pop out more. I'm gonna click OK. Now, once I've done that, I can click on this effects while holding down the Alt or Option key and drag it down. And notice it duplicated the effect exactly, so I don't have to go refidget with everything. I'm gonna hit Command or Control minus. Kind of like painters would step back 5 or 6 feet to look at their painting, see if there's anything they don't want. In Photoshop, you can just kind of shrink your design down and just get a feel for it. Okay, so for me, it feels a 2 bottom heavy. So I'm going to go back to the crop tool. I'm going to choose 1 to 1. All right, so I'm already pretty much a square, so that's not it. So I need to unsquare it. So I'm going to clear that ratio, click inside it with the crop tool still active, and I'm just going to pull in on the bottom because I think that's going to make it feel more balanced as an add. Command or Control 0 to fit in screen. Okay, I like where this is. I'm just going to push everything to the top layer, Command Option Shift letter E. So now it's at the very, very top. And now let's just tweak it. I'm gonna pull you over to the Camera Raw filter, which again is for processing Adobe RAW files. So I just updated this to 14.4. And I always like to pull up the clarity in this kind of grunge ad, pull up the shadows to make it a little brighter, maybe go ahead and push up the vibrance just a touch. And because we can, let's go ahead and scroll down to Effects, toggle it open, and add a white vignette just to make it even still a bit more airy on the sides, really focusing on that ride part. Boom, now we've just created a new ad. Hey, if you like this video and it helped, you can help me. Smack it, whack it, and crack-a-lack it. Take care. I like subscribers.
That's awesome. Whoa. Yes!
Hey, you stayed to the end. You know what that means? You're awesome. I'm talking about you. Now get out of here.